Hello! Today I have something very special to show you because we're not gonna create some random new character. Today we are gonna make some babies. Okay, that sounds a bit wrong. I'm gonna birth the babies of a character couple of mine, and it's gonna be the children of Eberhardt and his beloved wife, who doesn't have a name yet. She needs a name, and we'll call her Amanda? Yeah. And they're gonna get twins, a boy and a girl, obviously. So it's gonna be a mix between a crocodile and a bear and a frog. It's gonna be weird. So as you can see, I already sketched out the design for baby boy, and now I'm designing the little girl. The boy will have mostly Eberhardt's details, but with a more I don't give a F expression like his mom has. And the girl will look mostly like mom, but with ears and the same creepy eyes as her dad. I'm gonna start by making the baby girl first. She needs a name as well. What are we gonna call her? Maybe, you know what? I think she is called Amanda and the mom is called Lucy. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, so let's start out by making the armature for Amanda. I'm just gonna make it the exact same way as I did for her mom, just a bit smaller, you know. And now it's just twisting wire and then twisting wire around other wire and then adding more wire. You got that? As you can see, I'm making a rib cage basically and then adding the hind legs onto that. And then off cam I also added the front legs as well. And that's the armature for our little Amanda already done. You know what? I think we need to bring the parents in. They gotta be here for the birth of their own children. Okay, wonderful. So now you can watch me put the flesh onto your baby skeleton. Nice! But first, I'm bringing in some aluminum foil and I'm gonna shove that into her ribcage. So it's basically her guts. Don't worry, Lucy and Eberhard, I know what I'm doing. I'm covering her whole body in a thin layer of clay. Oh, this is when I realized that her head is obnoxiously big, so I ripped it off. Don't look, Lucy and Eberhard, it's fine. She's gonna be fine. Relax. Okay, maybe I'm the one who needs to chill out here. So I ditched the aluminum foil for the head and just decided to sculpt a new one just out of clay. And then I also sculpted her stumpy little legs. This girl is gonna be thick, or broad. Is that the right word? Like, she looks like she's super wide. But that's just how she's gonna be now. She's just a baby anyway. Her proportions are gonna change when she grows up. Anyway, it's time to add some details now, so I'm sculpting on her little ears and her creepily huge circular eyes. I also gave her a pacifier, and I made a little ring out of wire, but I think it looks more like a muzzle with a nose ring. Hopefully we can fix that later with the paint job. I mean, I'm recording this voiceover after everything is done already, so I know that that's not gonna work out. But you don't know that yet. Well, now you do. I'm also giving her spines on her back, same as mom, and then we can let her dry for a few days before adding the paint. In the meantime, I'm gonna quickly birth her brother, Eberhard Jr. Oh, can't forget to bring in the parents. Making his armature was a lot easier. I just made two bendy wire things as his front and hind legs and attached them to another piece of wire that's gonna be his torso. I'm so bad at describing these processes, oh my god. But I refuse to ask an AI to write my scripts or to help me translate. I don't know, but it feels so unnatural when people use AI for their scripts. Everything just sounds the same, plus, as an artist, not a big fan of AI. Anyway, that means that you have to deal with my mediocre descriptions and lack of elegance of words. Now look at that, I'm already adding clay to my little Eberhard Jr. I made his legs by just forming these sausages that I then push onto the wire and smooth out the connection between the legs and the torso. I find that this really works the best to get a nice shape. And then I just slowly build up the shapes, giving him a nice big baby head, some round shoulders, really building up all the details that make him come to life. It really does take a while to get the proportions to somewhat make sense and look convincing. As convincing as a bear, crocodile, frog, dinosaur can be. For the crocodile frogness, I'm giving him these huge bulging eyes that I'm sculpting front and center onto his face. I will say he doesn't have a lot of frogness to him, But I think it would have gotten very confusing if I added too many details from all kinds of species into these two, if that makes sense. But they still have some details of both parents, like he's got his mother's eyes and, the same spines and all. Now I'm rolling out a little clay snake, and that's gonna become his underbite. His dad has a pretty bad overbite and some wild teeth, so I thought it would be funny if he had an underbite. I'm pressing the clay snake onto his face and then only smoothing out the underside to give the impression of an underbite. Underside, underbite. I'm also giving him some cute teeth. I debated giving him braces. I ultimately decided against it because I thought he was just a baby and not ready for braces yet. But now that I'm thinking about it, it would have been so cute. But no braces for Eberhardt Jr. I also gave him just one row of spines as opposed to the ones on his dad, so that's just giving him one more thing that he's got in common with his mom. And back now to baby girl. While our baby boy can start the drying process, we can start painting Amanda. Amanda is such a random name for this character. As you can see, her pacifier nose ring thingy fell out during the drying process, but I'm not mad about it. I can just glue it back in once I'm done with the paint job. Speaking of paint job, I tried to mix the perfect baby blue for Amanda's body, but I failed, as I always do with the paint. I should really do an art fundamentals course where you learn how to mix colors and all that stuff. But that's so boring and I don't want to do that, so we'll have to live with the fact that I'm gonna be remixing paint 100 times. Ooh, but did you see just now how beautiful that blue looked? Mixing paint is nice. Anyway, I thought I found my perfect color, but as we all know, acrylic paint gets darker once it's dry, so I had to readjust it again, and now I think I have a solid blue base done. Only took like 3 hours and 500 coats. Who needs to learn the fundamentals? Someone stop me, I'm getting cray-cray. Or do I get clay? No? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, I'm painting her spines white, which took another 500 coats because I'm using cheap paint. And the price you pay for not paying the price is that there is 0 opacity. I'm painting her belly patch to match with Lucy's, and I'm also giving her the upside down drips. And after another 500 coats, that also looks pretty good. So now we can add, of course, the polka dots. Does anyone know why they're called polka dots? Wait, I'm gonna find that out real quick. So it basically was a marketing thing where the polka dance became widely popular in the US in the mid 1800s. And then they started using the word polka to market all kinds of clothing and fashion items. And that's also where the term polka dots came from. Interesting. Did you know that? Is that common knowledge for native English speakers? Because in German we don't have that expression. I didn't know where it came from. Anyway, done with the polka dots now. I'm mixing a pastel pink color and adding these as stripes onto her spines. Her mom has these in yellow and I love them so much. I call them traffic cones or party hats. But for the baby, I wanted them to be more subdued. And it's nice because she has the stripes like mom, but with a pink instead of yellow to match with her dad. See, it's all planned out. Now she's getting her freakishly large eyes. Today I was grocery shopping and in the line before the cashier there was a little baby boy and he kept staring at the man behind him with these big round eyes. I found that so funny. Like, kids have no boundaries when it comes to staring at people. I always get so uncomfortable when kids stare at me. Amanda is definitely one of those kids that just stare at you for 10 minutes straight without even blinking once. Creepy. I'm gluing her nose ring back on. Her pacifier ring. And now she's done. But we still have to paint her brother. He's all nice and dry now, and I think his shape turned out pretty good. I especially like the bulging eyes. I guess I have a thing for weird eyes, I'm mixing a nice light green color, and you can enjoy the satisfying mixing of white and green. Except that it's not very satisfying. I'm also mixing in a tiny bit of red to desaturate the green a bit, because the paint straight out of the tube was like super neon-y. Oh, do you still remember that time? It was like, 2010 or 2012? Where all clothing items were either neon pink or neon green? So ugly now that I look back. I'm not a fan of neon colors at all. So Eberhardt Jr. has a very nice desaturated light green. One of my all-time favorite colors. His spines are going to be an off-white. I'm using the same color to also paint in the whites of his eyes and his big teeth. After a few layers of paint, this all looks pretty good, and I'm mixing a light pink color to paint the inside of his ears and also to give him the same stripes on the spines that his sister has. Then I'm bringing in my oh-so-loved dotting tool to give him his chickenpox, polka dance pox dots. He's also getting some cute little freckles on his cheeks. Oh, he looks just like his dad, so cute. Now, the only thing that's left to paint are his eyes. And I want him to have the exact same expression as his mom's, hence the heavy eyelids and the kind of annoyed and tired expression. It kind of makes it seem like he's not a baby anymore. Maybe he is the bigger brother that's in puberty and that's why he's always annoyed and tired. Aw, that means I could have given him some braces. Anyway, too late now. Now my babies, Amanda and Eberhardt Jr. are finally done. They are so cute! As a final step, I'm gonna give them both a coat of gloss varnish to protect the paint job, and then once that's completely dry, we can finally bring the new family together. I had the idea of making these two since the moment I realized that my froggy sculpture was a girl and therefore Eberhardt's girlfriend. And I'm so glad I made them. They really bring the whole story of Eberhardt and Lucy together. I love how these blobs of clay can just become something that almost seems like it's alive or has a personality. And here comes the family. Eberhardt and Lucy, say hello to your children. Amanda and Eberhardt Jr. And now you're gonna be trapped in the thing that we call parenthood for the next 20 years. Have fun!